Okay, I'm gonna show you guys how I make these little 3D pumpkins that I'm going to put on top of a pumpkin soap. Now these are made of melt and pour. It's a soap base that you can get, and it can come in a container like this. I usually buy it in a larger amount, which I have some of this left, so I'm going to use it. But I got the ultra white and also the crystal clear. This, I think I got it in the wrong container, but anyways, this is clear that I'm going to use. I got the wrong lids on them. And all you do, let me first show you the little mold. So this is the mold. And there's 3 of them. So they have these little things that you can push this together. Now, if I were to just set this here, I don't feel like it would stay. So I put them all together, and then I actually tie a rubber band around the whole bunch of them so that they stay together, and I make sure that they're lined up. Okay, so now you can see, you don't want to be able to see through these at all. So the first thing I'm going to do, which I started doing, but then I thought I would show you guys how I do it. Measured out a little bit of the melt and pour base, and I added a little bit of this Poppycock mica from MadMicas. You can find in the description, you can find where to buy this. I have an affiliate link, so I do get a little percentage of it, but that was Poppycock. So I'm going to microwave this real quick, and then I'll show you what I do next. Okay, so you can do 30-second intervals in the microwave when you're doing this, but since I had such a small amount, I only did like 15 seconds, and you can see that it's melted pretty good. So then you have to keep stirring it, hand stirring it. If you try to use like a frother or anything, it foams up because it's actually soap. So you just do this, make sure all the mica is blended, and then I usually take a dropper. And this is caramel and pumpkin swirl. It's a Bath & Body Works dupe. Measure a little bit of this fragrance oil out, and I'll just squeeze it in here, and I'll stir it up more. Then I have another dropper that I use. I just go in and get a little bit. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this part, but I use my dropper and I just go right down to make the stem. Why isn't it coming out? I gotta get more maybe? What is it going on with that one? All right, we'll try this one. All right, so we're just gonna fill that piece right there. We're gonna spray it with rubbing alcohol. It'll get out any air bubbles, and I'm gonna let it set for just a couple minutes, and then I will do the orange to fill in for the pumpkin. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna cut some of this clear and add our orange. There's different types of soap bases that you can get. Some are like goat's milk, some have shea butter, cocoa butter. I'll just add some of the ones that I already cut up earlier. Okay, so we'll do that, and then I'm going to add this orange. It's called Pumpkin Head from MadMicas. Sometimes I put it in before I put it in the microwave, and sometimes I do it afterwards. It really doesn't matter. And then I'm going to once again add fragrance, which this too you can add before or after. All right, we're just gonna heat this up. Okay, we did this for about 30 seconds and it's pretty much melted. Now that isn't quite as bright as I want it to be. I'm just gonna add a little, well, it kind of does look pretty bright now that I'm looking at it, but we're just gonna add a tiny bit more just to get a darker pumpkin color. Just definitely make sure you stir this mica up really good in here. Sometimes I'll take rubbing alcohol and I'll spray it like that. And if there's any pieces that are undissolved, the mica, they'll float to the top. But this appears to be fine. So we're gonna go ahead and pour it. You wanna make sure the other part that you did is pretty close to dry. You don't want it to sit for too long, otherwise it won't stick to the bottom part of the pumpkin. So then you just go ahead and fill your mold up to the top. We will let these sit for about 30 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that, and they'll be ready to, look at that, almost the perfect amount. And then always spray a little bit of rubbing alcohol to get the bubbles out, and we'll be back to unmold our pumpkins. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes. I went ahead and put them in the freezer. You can put them in the freezer or the refrigerator if you're in a hurry for them to set up. Then you just go ahead and pull them apart. And you have this adorable little pumpkin. These are going to go on the top of a cold process soap that I'm going to make in a few minutes.